Although they had managed to partially refill their water skins during the storm, they drank the last of their water that morning. Book 1, Eragon, Chapter 18, Revelation at Yazuac. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Paolini's inheritance cycle one chapter at a time. I'm Lucy Hart.
And I'm Darien Smartt. Oh, the tone shift.
The tone shift.
Like there were stakes, and then there's whatever this is.
Yeah, this isn't stakes. This is like brutality.
Oh my god! But before we get into that,
let's talk about something a little light-hearted.
Yeah, let's
lighthearted.
Sparks of inspiration.
Oh,
my spark of inspiration this week is the Fionna and Cake limited series on Max, which is not Struck. It's animated, so it's fine. It's not a Struck project. I checked.
Yep.
It's different. It's fine. I am a big fan of Adventure Time. I think it is a wonderful, wild, weird, loving piece of just storytelling and animation, and just an incredibly influential piece of Western animation. And what got me watching it, because my brother DJ was really into it from the beginning, and I was very dismissive of it because I thought it was goofy and too silly. And then they did the Fionna and Cake episode, which if you're not familiar with Adventure Time, just an animated series about this boy and his magical talking dog who live in the land of Ooh with the Candy Kingdom and a vampire demon rock star and a flame princess, and it just stuff. They go on adventures and they save princesses and they fight monsters and they do cool hero things.
Yep.
And then one of the animators on the show, Rebecca Sugar, drew some fan art of literally just drew art of the characters' gender bent.
Yep.
So Fionna and Cake.
Yep.
And the team liked it so much they're like, let's do an episode.
Yeah.
And so they did. And the framing device of the episode is that one of the reoccurring former antagonists and then just friend, ally, weird guy they hang out with, Ice King, just writes fan fiction about Finn and Jake and all the characters in the land of Ooh. But it's the most
relatable thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the framing device. And there's a handful of episodes and they focus on different characters, being the Fionna and Cake stuff, and it's fun. And it's fun, and the fact that the show did something so weird just really highlights the show, and it's good, and the episode's really neat, and the characters are cool and distinct. Just because they're the gender bent versions of these pre-existing characters, you can tell there are distinct things in the characterizations.
Yep. It's not a copy-paste.
So Fionna and Cake is this Adventure Time ended some years back, and they've done limited specials highlighting different characters and different stories. It's very cool. Fionna and Cake is a proper revisiting, stepping back 12 years after the events of the finale, and diving back into Fionna and Cake, where beforehand there's this girl and her cat, and they live in a magical world, and everything's magic, it's great, and then you catch up in the first episode, and it's not magic.
Yep.
And just a normal life where she has jobs and she can't keep a job and she has a shitty apartment and she has no money. And then the second episode is Ice King when he's not Ice King anymore, just Simon Petrikov and just a guy. And you very quickly realize that the reason there's no... Oh, spoilers. The reason there's no magic in Fiona's world is because Simon isn't magic.
Yep.
And so the series is exploring that concept of Fionna, who's just this girl who believes her life is supposed to be magic. So why isn't it? Which is a thing that resonates with, I've imagined, a lot of people when we unpack it in therapy.
Yeah.
But just, I think it's cool that this incredibly weird and silly thing that this series did so long ago is now being used to explore some really interesting concepts about having to accept being an adult, because this series is specifically, it's an adult cartoon, not in the way that Family Guy is, or even Harley Quinn is adult with violence and cursing and sex. It's adult in that it is gonna explore concepts that at 12 you just don't get yet. At 12 you don't have those ideas just yet. And at 29, you really do all the time.
Yeah.
And so my spark of inspiration is how every little idea has the potential to grow into something miraculous and bigger than it was. A piece of fan art sketched can become anything at all. Every idea has value.
I like that.
Thank you.
I think for my inspiration, I'm going to kind of go way back, for me anyway, to the Legend of Zelda series.
Ooh.
And I think, like, one of the things that I think I like adventure so much, because I like adventure fantasy-esque kind of stuff. And I think that started with Zelda. Because I feel like Zelda is very adventure-esque. You're Link, you go off on an adventure and you save the day kind of thing. And so I think, like, that's where my base storytelling almost is. Because, like, I remember Ocarina or Ocarina, depending on how you want to say it. It varies, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first Zelda game I played, and I remember being so, like, oh my god, this game is huge. Like, you can go anywhere in this game. Like, that's crazy. You don't have to follow the path. Like, you don't have to do anything. You can actually go explore. Like, that's so cool. And, like, that just inspired me to explore in my own writing. Like, to take my characters and put them in a situation in which they have to explore, whether that be themselves or the world itself and things like that. And it's also, like, I just love The Legend of Zelda in general, and it's, like, always, and, like, especially with, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where that's just amplified so much, where Link is put into these worlds where exploration is highly encouraged. It's not necessary, but it also just inspires me to, like, expand my own world, like, think about things and characters and continents and islands and different cultures that's going on in my world. That's not, like, my character is the main character, but the world is not centered on my main character. The world functions around my character, whether she's there or not. So I think, like, that's also something that I get from Link and Zelda and just the whole Legend of Zelda series. I think, like, I feel like that's such a core memory of me. I'm like, that is 100% my adventure and storytelling and everything, like, kind of, I think, like, baseline is The Legend of Zelda. So. Yeah.
It's very good.
Yes. So that's like my spark of inspiration and my geode, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of in one.
And with that,
now we
we're going to head into town.
Ugh.
Revelation at Yazuac. Reaching Yazuac, Saphira remains at a distance as Braum and Eragon enter the city. Met with an eerie silence, they avoid the main road, prepared for an ambush. Instead, they find that every resident has been slaughtered. Braum determines that Urgals are responsible, which is proven correct when several Urgals attack. Eragon and Braum are separated, and Eragon finds himself cornered in an alley. Refusing to give in to fear, Eragon speaks a word he heard Braum use before, unleashing a wave of power, killing the Urgals.
It is a drastic tone change, especially with the last chapter ending on Eragon felt as if he were sitting inside a painting, and then we get this.
Man, Paolini loves to do this. We got to start being ready. Like, oh,
and
did it end on particularly, like, beautiful writing and, like, a beat of hope and, like, joy? Be prepared for something horrible to happen.
Yeah, that's
because this is horrible.
It's literally like a done.
Yeah.
It's a good beat, bad beat.
Oh, it's in Mulan. It's the girl worth fighting for.
Yes,
it's literally how that song ends.
Literally,
where
that's
a reality
100%.
Check.
It's 100%. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, like, again, it also plays, like, we're kind of talking about it in general right now, not going through it. But, like, I also think going back to, like, Eragon realizing the weight and the, you know, this and that and how big the world is and things like that. I think this is another step that things aren't just okay. Like, it does reintroduce danger in a way that is very, very, very real and smacks them in the face, literally.
Yeah,
so
it becomes like, it's not just like, oh, Eragon's on this journey now because his uncle was killed, and that raised the stakes, and that showed us what happened. But it's him seeing that, it's established that, the Yuazac didn't do the thing that happened to this town, but there are other entities out there that are allowed to do this thing, that the world as it exists allows for evil. So we should just get into it. So like I said, like, in the thing, they go into town, they got to get supplies, but okay, brief tangent of Braum being again mysterious.
Yeah.
Because when Eragon's like, how do you know we're so close? How do you know where we're going? Because I am not guided by the land, but by the stars and the sun. They will not lead us astray.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay. And I was like, oh, is Braum going to teach? Nope. We just continue on. Okay. Yep. They start to head towards town, and Saphira has to go hide again, and she's like, I don't like it. It's irritating having to hide all the time like a criminal.
Yep.
That's interesting. She's like, it's like Saphira is very much like feeling frustrated with the fact that she has to sneak around when she's like, I haven't done anything wrong. And we're actually going after those who have done terrible wrong, but they don't have to hide.
And I feel like she's probably also maybe just a little bit annoyed that, like, well, you guys get to walk around all normal.
Yeah.
Like, I know why you're human and you don't stick out. You're not a freaking beautiful dragon.
Yeah.
But I do feel like just the, like,
yeah.
just the pouting, like, man.
Yeah. But I wonder if that also is meant to, like, kind of give him to, like, what I just said about, like, the world isn't just.
Yep.
Because it's like, she's like, I have to hide like I'm a criminal, except criminals don't have to hide and sneak around in this world.
Yeah.
The Yuazac were concealing themselves, but they aren't hiding.
Yeah, they're not having to avoid people.
Yeah, but Saphira, who has done nothing wrong, who it has to hide because the world is as it's such, where if she is found and seen, it will cause problems and terror and bad things.
I really like that. I really like that. In comparison, very good.
So as they're approaching the town, the village, they stopped before the first house. Eragon abruptly said, there aren't any dogs barking.
No.
Doesn't mean anything, though.
No.
Someone should have seen us by now.
Yes.
Then why hasn't anyone come out?
Could be afraid.
Could be. And they're like, well, what if it's a trap? Yeah, we still need provisions, though.
Is it we need provisions and water? There's the Ninor. We still need provisions.
True.
And
I really like Braum and Eragon.
They're just back and forth.
Yeah, I think that also, like, I like that we get a, like, conversation that does not include Braum saying something, like, rude to Eragon or Eragon ending frustrated. Like, this, like, yeah, could be. Maybe.
I feel like this is also maybe like a little callback to what their relationship was like in Carvajal, where Eragon would just come and ask a bunch of questions and Braum being like, oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, this.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. They have, it does kind of establish that there's like, there is like a positive relationship.
Yeah, 100%. Like despite the hardships, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And they decided they'll go around the side of the town and enter, because if anyone's like ambushing them.
Yeah, because I love, he's like, so we go in, yes, but not like fools. And I'm like, hell yeah. Fuck yes.
Fuck yeah, let's go around the side then.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
And then notes like, Eragon's palm tingled, but he resisted the urge to scratch it. I'm like, interesting.
Interesting.
To the palm.
Yep.
To the palm. And I don't want to read the description.
We don't have to read.
It's everyone.
It's really bad. And it's just,
slaughtered.
I just like that. As they rode into the center of town, he gripped his bow tighter, blanching. Gods above, he whispered. And then not going to read the next
it's like a mountain
paragraph.
of bodies. And it's just like, and to be clear, like, Paolini does not describe this grotesquely. Yeah, it is not sensationalized. It is not detailed. Like, we don't get, I think, like, honestly, like, Garo's injuries are more detailed than this scene.
Yeah.
What we don't get exactly, well, okay. So we get things that clothes are soaked in blood.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more the positions, the interpretation where you can feel the last moments of fear and panic.
Yep.
Because it's everyone in town, every adult, every child, like every baby, like it's
everyone.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And it not terrifying in a sense, I think horrifying. I think that's what you said. Horrifying and terrible. That's what I wanted to say.
And Eragon's like, tears blurred Eragon's vision. He tried to look away, but the dead faces held his attention. What does our existence mean when it can end like this? A wave of hopelessness overwhelmed him. I
have a question. Like, you can cut this out. Did you skip a line?
I do that sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, no. I just wanted to make sure because like, our books are different. So I was like, was that okay? No. We can just cut that out. I was just really
I'll keep that in there to like acknowledge that. Like, sometimes when I'm reading, I will skip because I'll realize in the moment that I'm like, I don't want to read the
whole
next
thing.
like 2 sentences.
Oh, yeah.
I want to jump to the part that like I want to have the. So, dear listener, if you've ever noticed that, like, wait, she skips. I in fact do sometimes do that in the reading. So
because I
think it's good to draw attention.
Yeah,
to this.
no, you're good. I just wanted to. I'm like, does your book not have that line?
No,
like,
no,
I was
it
like,
does. Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
But
Go ahead. Yep.
It is, and I think that also is like what we kind of mentioned before. Like Eragon is hyper empathetic.
Yeah.
Like he cares deeply about
other people.
Which I mean, also like this is a horrible slaughter of mass innocent people. Like I think any person would be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But Eragon feeling hopeless but I think he's also like thought a lot of like, what does our existence mean if it can just die?
Yep, and it is definitely like he's only like maybe a week after.
Yeah, it's only been a handful of days.
What? Not Braum.
Garo's
death. And so, like, when Garo died, he still had the same, like, hopeless, empty feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so this would bring it back in a way that is so much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, Garo died of injuries, and that was awful and terrible. But, like, he saw how Garo died peacefully, surrounded by people.
That's true.
Not this.
Here. So
not this.
Yeah. And Braum does, like, ask him, like, do you want to wait outside the town? He's like, no, I'll stay. Who could have done? Braum bowed his head. Those who love the pain and suffering of others. They wear many faces and go by many disguises, but there is only one name for them. Evil. And there is no understanding it. All we can do is pity and honor the victims.
I think that's great.
Yeah. I think we've discussed in our like villains episode, like having a villain who's evil just to be evil and they're crazy. It's like, whatever. But also the reality is there is just evil
in the world.
There's just 100%. People who just want to harm others for any reason, but the reasons don't actually matter.
Yeah.
They're just evil people and do bad things, and that is a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it's the Urgles.
The Urgles. Yeah.
It's not the Yuazac did pass this way, but this is Urgle work. The spear of their, because they see like the spear and weapons, it is of their make. A company of them came through here, perhaps 100, but it's odd. I only know a few instances of them gathering and such. And then he realizes the Urgles are still here.
Yep.
And they like race back to their horses and they try to run, but
Eragon gets clocked right in the face.
Clocked right in the face.
Right in the face. At a full gallop.
Like, yeah, like it's knocked off the horse. Yep. Like it's all over.
Yep.
Well, not all over her, but it's like, oh, it's like, whoa. Everything happens so fast.
Yep.
And then there is like a second Urgle is there. Braum tells him to run. He's like trying to swing his sword, but the Urgle chases Eragon. It's great. Like this action sequence is great because it's like the first fight sequence we've had since the epilogue.
Yep.
And I wanted to shout it out because I can picture exactly what is happening.
Oh, 100%. It's so well written.
Yeah, I know where everyone is at. I know what's going on. Like, it's not like, well, what happened? How did we get here? Like, I think it's very well written while still feeling rushed and chaotic and overwhelming.
Absolutely.
It doesn't feel like a weird and then this happened. And then this happened.
Yeah, no. Like, it's very, the fight it's written very, very well. And then I think what I like... Yeah, I think it's after, so Braum gets injured.
Yeah, like gets like, looks like knocked out.
Yep.
And then the Urgle's about to get him with the axe.
Do a death blow, and a deafening scream tore out of Eragon as he charged the Urgle head first. The Urgle paused in astonishment, then faced him contemptuously, swinging his axe. And he ducked it, clawed the Urgle's side, leaving bloody furrows. And then Eragon scrambled down the alleyway, and I think
it's like he's actively trying to lead them away from Braum, who now can't defend himself.
Yep. And is this when he shoots an arrow, or did he do it before?
He did it before.
Okay, yeah, because I like the
and
fact
then just fucking block. I thought the Urgle caught it at first, but he does just block it with his shield.
He just blocks it with his shield.
Yeah, that makes more sense. You can't just catch the arrow.
Like, but I do like...
You're not a cool enough villain to catch the arrow out of the air.
And I'm just going to drill home with this. Like, again, Eragon's choice weapon is a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, is the only thing he's trained with at this point in time.
Yeah.
But it would have been cooler, I think, if he just got better at the bow and arrow. But fine, whatever.
Yep.
It's the first time we've seen Urgles in
Yeah,
the story
and,
outside of the
like,
epilogue
also,
and see
like,
what they can do.
And so close. Because I feel like the Urgles in the prologue were close, but the focus was on the shade rather than the Urgles. This is like front, face, and center.
Yeah.
Like, we get, like, I think we had their fangs, but it's just so much more detail with them. So,
yeah,
yes.
because it was the shade perceiving them and watching them as they chased the elf woman, but he was focused on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't get, like, the Urgles were chasing her, but we didn't get what that felt like because we weren't in the focus of her and what the chase was at. So they are scary.
Yeah, and I think this also adds to that. Like, she killed a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like she killed a lot of these giant, brooding, awful creatures, monsters, as the book wants us to do. And, like...
Listen, they are monsters.
They're monsters,
like, not just in form, but we just saw what they did to this village of people for... no reason, because it was like, why?
Yep.
And there's no answer. Like I said, like Brahm says, there's no trying to understand it.
Yep. And there's also, like, the monster was tall, thick, and broader than a doorway, with gray skin and yellow piggish eyes. So it's like they do call the Urgles a monster.
Yeah.
But I think it just really, like, they're struggling with two of them, and that elf woman faced several.
Yeah.
Got out alive.
Yeah,
as much as
got out
know.
Like beat down quite a few of them.
Yep.
Yeah, before she was cornered.
Yep.
And then Eragon gets cornered pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like,
I do love this whole description. I just want to preface this.
Do you want to? Yeah, this one where it's like as he faced the Urgles, images flashed in his mind.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that? Yeah, because that's also. I feel like I've been reading a lot.
Okay.
Recently.
Yeah. No.
Like,
I
if
can
you
do
would
that.
like to do a reading of that passage, like, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I think we absolutely should.
Yeah. So we'll read this passage. As he faced the Urgles, images flashed in his mind. Dead villagers piled around the spear and an. Do we want to?
Yeah, if we're gonna read the passage. Read the passage.
Dead villagers piled around the spear and an innocent baby who would never grow to adulthood. At the thought of their fate, a burning, fiery power gathered from every part of his body. It was more than a desire for justice. It was his entire being rebelling against the fact of death, that he would cease to exist. The power grew stronger and stronger until he felt ready to burst from the contained force.
He stood tall and straight, all fear gone. I love that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He raised his bow smoothly. The Urgles laughed and lifted their shields. Eragon sighted down the shaft as he had done hundreds of times and aligned the arrowhead with his target. The energy inside him burned at an unbearable level. He had to release it or it would consume him. A word suddenly leapt unbidden to his lips. He shot, yelling, "Brissinger!" which is interesting.
Interesting, because isn't that the curse Brahm said will light in the fire in the last chapter?
And so it's like, what does that do? Well, what it does...
let's tell you, listeners!
Is it encases the arrow with a crackling blue light. It strikes the lead Urgle on the forehead, and the air resounded with an explosion. A blue shockwave blasted out from the monster's head, killing the other Urgle instantly. Mm-hmm. And then it reached Eragon before he had time to react, and it passed through him without harm, dissipating against the houses. And whatever he did, we don't know. Well, we know, but whatever...
But, like, also we, the reader, can guess.
We can guess that it was magic, and it just took out a lot of him. Like, that, whatever he did. And I like how he looks at the Gedwe Ignacia, and it was glowing.
Dear listeners, the mark on his palm, in case you've forgotten what it was called. I definitely did.
Yeah. And it's glowing white hot, and then it fades back to normal. And it just, his knees buckle and he's sagged against the wall. So whatever he did, it took a lot of energy out of him.
First hint at the rules of the magic system.
Yes, we love a good magic system.
I do love a good magic system.
Yeah.
I definitely am more partial to a soft magic system because I like being able to fuss around a little bit with things.
Yeah.
But I'm very into this. I've got feelings about Eragon having Brissinger here in this moment that I will not share in this chapter, because mayhaps they will be acknowledged in the next chapter. Except perhaps I've already read the next chapter and know that they aren't satisfactorily addressed in the way I would have liked, but I will save it for when we discuss that. But hey, that's real cool.
Yeah.
No, just setting that aside, that was really cool.
So cool.
Like that, oh my gosh. I feel like the way this chapter is structured is, so I'm gonna like, this is gonna be my roundabout way of like describing my writing tip. Yeah. And I'll figure out if I can like condense it into a way to put it on a little Canva slide for Instagram
there
later.
You go.
But like the way, this is the chapter where Eragon gets his first like big hero protagonist moment. Yeah. Right? Like Saphira hatched, But, like, he just happened to be there for it. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing that makes him the hero of the story, because he
Yep.
has the dragon. But that was Saphira, not him.
Yep.
And every other cool thing that happened has kind of been Saphira, not him, or the Yuazac doing something terrible
Yeah.
because of him, but not him. This is the first time Eragon has gotten to do a cool, like, high fantasy hero thing.
Yep.
And it is, I think, so earned because of how dark the chapter got earlier. Like, how we got this everything, and it's also like everything Eragon has been through, like his uncle dying and chasing the Yuazac, and finally like being in the town and seeing the Urgles and being presented with an atrocity and horrors. Now he's running for his life, and he just has a moment where he decides, I'm not gonna die. Like, or if he is, he's not gonna be afraid. He stands up and he's like, I'm gonna go down swinging. Because they don't deserve to see me cower in fear before them.
Absolutely.
And that, like, that fact, that is the thing that channels into the energy where he is able to cast this first spell is very cool. And I think I'm just gonna let it be very cool. And I think I'm just that I'm sure there'll be a lot of other conversation we will have later about Eragon and magic and whether or not and vague Mary Sue-esque things. But I don't want to talk about that right now. Like, unless you do, in which case we'll have a conversation.
No, we're good.
But I think it's very cool. And I like that that's where the chapter ends. Like, Eragon does this cool magic, defeats these monsters moment. Like, and also, we didn't talk about it. He did call for Saphira, but she was a ways away and has not shown up yet. So
he's literally on his own.
Literally on his own, because she's not going to make it in time. Yeah, I just like it. And I think the structure of, I love a cool story beat. But in order to stick the landing, it has to be earned. And I think this was earned because the stakes.
Absolutely. I think it goes when like, I think we've given Pelini a little bit of shit for, like, his aha moments, but I think this is one of the aha moments that is very well earned, like what you said. Like, it came from a lot, and I do really like the line where it was more than a desire for justice, it was his entire being rebelling against the fact of death. And I do really like that. He basically, like, if you want to be like weird, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but like they basically asked him a question and it was death, and he said no. And then he stood, he's like,
what do we
no.
say to the god of death? Not today.
Nope, not happening. And I agree with you. It's just so good how it's described and how he does it, and it's just very good.
And Eragon has intense hang-ups with death, as every living thing does. But Eragon specifically, as it was like really reflected, like having just lost his uncle, but in that moment also reflects on the fact that his mother has died, which I think he doesn't know for a fact, but he's pretty certain, and that his aunt died and he lost his uncle, and then just being faced with this barrage of the reality of death of all the villagers, and him just rebelling like against the idea of death in general. Good news, Eragon. I'm pretty sure dragon riders are immortal, so, as long as you don't get stabbed to death or anything, you're probably fine. I'm like pretty confident at this point, right? If dragons can live for a long time, and so can their riders. But Eragon has been grappling with death this thing, and it's and he's just said, you know what? No. I will not. But I also, as I'm saying this right now, because it's a immature, an impossible thing to say no to death forever. But I think if you look at it as a metaphor, death as an inevitable. What Eragon is saying is no to the inevitability of this current world. No to a world where the Yuazac roam and just get to kill innocent men. No to a world where Urgles can show up and slaughter a whole village for nothing. No to a world run by a monarch who does not care about that fact. No to a world where dragons have to hide like criminals. No to this world. This does not have to be inevitable. It will not be inevitable in my world. And I really dig that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So good.
So good. Actually, big finale. Love a big finale. And that's just where we're gonna... What? How do I say this word in the next chapter? Admonishments?
Admonishments.
No. No, I won't be saying that word, even though I will be
Admonishments.
reading the chapter title next. I refuse.
It's like you're being admonished. Bad person.
There's too many consonants right next to
Admonishment.
each other.
It does look weird when it's in all caps.
So yeah, I think have your like big damn hero moments. Just make sure you set up the stakes first.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I have a writing tip, because the only thing that I thought of is like when we talked about like pulling your punches, and this is not pulling a punch.
It's not, but it's also not being grotesquely explicit as it absolutely could have.
Yeah, and I think I also wanted to mention that too, is like even when Eragon kills the Urgles, it's not brains splattering.
Blood and guts and viscera.
Yeah, and so it's not described. Oh, I guess that could be a writer point. Like if you're going to have like grotesque in quotes scenes, you don't have to go into depths about how nasty it is.
It's know your genre.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that's what makes this. Actually, this is something I talked about with when I did the writing camps with
cool.
a kid who his story opened up with like a horde of demons attacking a city.
Yeah.
And like taking people out. And he's like, well, I don't want to be too graphic and explicit.
Yeah.
But like people die, and so how do I say that? And I'm like, well, you can just say like they attacked this block and then people fought back, but this block fell. Like you could say people fell and they breathed their last breath, but like you can have people dying in your story without it being like that's because it's an action story, because it's a fantasy story.
Yep.
It's if you describe it in explicit detail that it becomes a horror.
Yep.
And even sometimes horror is like unnecessarily because then you're doing something else. Yeah. And so I think that's also like recognizing the genre, and not if a writer is like, I want it to be super explicit and detailed in my fan. All right, man, that's not for me, I guess. Yeah. And I'm not into glorifying violence.
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's important too to be like know your audience.
Yeah.
Like know your audience and your genre.
Yeah, the audience you're seeking to, like, this is, again, it's in the children's section. Yeah. So, like, you have this horrible thing that happened, but I don't think it's not age appropriate for. It's scary. Yeah. And I'm sure there are some parents that wouldn't want their 10-year-old reading it. Yeah. I think I would be fine with my 10-year-old reading this.
Yeah. And it's like, and also like I think it's also important if like for parents too to be like, hey, you can read the book, and if there's anything uncomfortable about it, you do not have to finish this book.
Yeah, or you can ask me about it, or like, let me read it and we can talk about it.
Absolutely. But like you said, like I don't think this book is not age appropriate. Like I think it's done well. It is horrifying, but it's not done in a way that I'm like, I don't want anyone to read it. Like I feel uncomfortable reading this. Like no.
This was not necessary. And I also think in terms of like the audience and stuff, like this horrible thing has happened, and then Eragon starts to ask Brahm who or why or what, and he has that thing we read about like evil, and you can't understand it. There's no point understanding. And I think that also serves as like a good thing in the tale of like for the audience. Yeah. Where it's like there is evil in the world.
Absolutely.
And you should not spend your time trying to understand it.
Yeah.
You should just honor the victims of it and fight against it.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, listeners, definitely don't tell us your favorite scene of slaughter. We don't want to. That's not obviously that's not a thing we're
no,
into.
Thank you.
But favorite like big hero moment. Yeah, I love a big hero moment.
Absolutely, that's a good one.
Always a good one. I really love. I like at the end of Avengers Endgame when Captain America picks up Mjolnir and is like, I could do this all. Like, I know I'm a basic bitch, but like, I call it what it is. It's a cool moment. Or like on your left. That's a good moment. Yeah. So yeah, tell us, hit us up. We're Eragon Pod on Instagram as always. Tell us your favorite hero moments.
Absolutely, absolutely. 100%.
And until next time, she's Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smartt.
And this is Eragon.
And back again.